Some of you probably already know this stuff based off your lifting background, but just some things of like why this works, why this program is effective. So when we teach you to squat, press, and deadlift here in a minute, we pick those lifts because they train the most of you, right? They train the most muscle mass at once. So here's the doom and gloom story. You're dying, you're atrophying, I want to fix it. What's an intelligent way to fix it, right? It's, well, I got to strengthen my whole body. Ray could just go to the gym and isolate, but what's the point of just having big biceps if he can't walk? Because when I interact in my environment, in society, in life, it's basically muscles moving bones around. So I want to train my whole body at once. That's why we like the big barbell lifts, the squat, the press, the bench press, and the deadlift, because they train all of Daniel at one time. So today, the first thing we do is, hey, can we do these things through a full range of motion? And then once we can, we start to load them. That's the other reason we like the barbell, right? These are 45-pound bars you see on the racks. We got as light as a 15 over there in the corner, and plates go down to, 1.25 pounds or below. So, we can make these small little jumps, and that's what we do. And the reason we do that is because of something called the stress recovery adaptation cycle. So right here on my wall, we got a little graph, and we got 3 types of people kind of lined out. The novice, the intermediate, and the advanced. So let's think about this word novice. A lot of times people think novice and they think, well, I'm not a novice. I've been lifting for 5 years, or I lifted, a bunch in high school. Surely I'm not a novice. All a novice means is that your rate of adaptation is very high. All right, so take, for example, my 63-year-old mother. Never barbell trained, never touched a barbell. She comes in here, and I think that first day we deadlifted like 35 pounds. Well, is she a novice? She can't be a novice. She's 65. She might be actually like advanced or need some special type of programming. No, because she's never strength trained, she's going to get strong really fast. So she does 35. She comes back a few days later. She does 40. She comes back a few days later. She does 45, right? And it's this slow increase. And what you find is the person starts to get really strong really fast. And the reason is, we take Kathy today, we teach her to squat, and that's a stress applied to her. Kathy goes home, she's sore, she's hurting, and she's like, oh, I can't believe I just squatted 45 pounds, whatever she does today, and tomorrow she takes the day off. She recovers, she drives back up near Fresno, wherever she's from. Her body starts to repair itself. So she's down in the stress hole, she starts to come up, and when she gets back to about where she was, her baseline of strength, I know she has some baseline of strength because I watched her walk in the door and go over to a bench and sit down. When she gets back to that point, her body's gonna say as a living organism, Kathy might make me squat again. She might go visit Grant again. I wanna be ready for this. And her body's going to adapt. And it's gonna be ready for a new load. Now the problem with your average person in the gym is they don't know this cycle's happening. So Kathy on her own goes in the garage door with John, right? And he has her squat 45 pounds and it's hard and she's scared. And 2 days later, because John's read the book and he knows, hey, she's adapted, she's ready for more weight. He goes back in the gym, he says, Kathy, do 50. And she's like, 45 was really hard. He's like, nah, you should do 50. She's like, but it's, am I recounting your life? Okay. and she's like, it was really hard. Or let's picture she's without John. She goes back in the gym because she's like, oh, you know what? I know I need to get stronger. 45 pounds was hard last time. I'll do 45 again. So what happens? She applies the same stress again. So she doesn't get any stronger. So many people go in the gym and just spin their wheels because they go in and they read Muscle and Fitness, Men's Health, Cosmopolitan. Oh, this looks like a cool New Year's 6-week challenge. And they go in and they do the same thing over and over. And so they may get a little bit stronger, have a little bit of results, but in terms of like actually gaining strength and having an adaptation occur, the load has to go up. So what we want Kathy to do is apply stress 45, go down, recover, come back, adapt, come back in the gym, 50. Recover, adapt, 55. And each time she comes in, she adds weight. And the result, if she does that, is she's gonna go from here to here in about probably 6 to 8 weeks. It's really fast, especially if you're doing it correctly, you have a coach, someone guiding you through it, she's gonna get strong really fast. Now, obviously, this doesn't work forever. If it worked forever, we'd all be squatting 1,000 pounds, right? Connor's been at this for 5 years. Andrew's been at it for a decade. I've been lifting like this since like 2011. The stronger you get, the harder it is to get stronger. I always give the example, when I first found this program, I ran it and I took my squat from, I don't know what I started at, 185 or something, up to 465 in about 8 months. And then it took me 8 years to take it from 465 to 500, right? But what did I do during those 8 years? I lived somewhere in here, right? I lived somewhere where I was stronger, where I wasn't atrophying, where I was able to do the stuff that I want. So if you're brand new to this thing, this ride's the fun part. And then this part is, hey, I got to do hard things to survive. My kind of line is, there's 3 things you got to do in life in order to survive. You have to eat, you have to sleep, and you have to do resistance training. Because if you don't, we know what doesn't happen if we don't eat and we don't sleep, and if we don't do resistance training, you atrophy, and that's another thing that can take your life. So you get up here and you're stronger, and what's happening, and we don't need to focus on this too much, is the stronger you get, the slower your rate of adaptation is. Braden just squatted 485 or 475 or something this week, right, on Wednesday. Friday, he wasn't ready for 10 pounds more, because he's so strong, right? So he's got to do something else. So the stronger you get, the more complexity that is involved. People like Thomas been training for 5 years. They know that. Hey, now maybe I squat heavy on Monday, I come in Wednesday and it's a bit lighter, or whatever the case is. So that's kind of the process. The thing that we're using is we're learning how to do these lifts that train our whole body, and then we're very intelligently and specifically trying to increase the stress for as long as we can or until we can't. And if you do that process, you get strong and you're able to do what you want in life.